did not know that you are a Midwestern girl, which explains so much about you, right? People from Texas make sense, and people from the Midwest make sense. People from the Northeast, where I am from, do not make sense.
You guys are bad.
Yeah, it's a miracle. I grew up in upstate New York, which is not the same as New York. Upstate, we're sensible people.
Yes.
So, tell me about your family. Was it very conservative?
No, I mean, not super political even. My parents are both great, and they're both from Wisconsin, so just grew up, oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I just grew up about an hour west of Milwaukee, so my mom worked in Milwaukee. My mom is super, like the most amazing person you could imagine. Her career, I mean, this woman worked like 70-hour weeks, traveling to China and Germany, and my dad's a civil engineer. He worked for the state in the same job, basically, for 40 years, and they're retired now. I have a younger brother. He lives in D.C., so it's amazing.
Did you always think you were going to get into news?
Megyn, actually, no. I loved, when I graduated high school, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. It's so embarrassing. But when I loved TV. And so this is where, for me, it's especially special to even know you, because I don't know if I've told you this story before. I feel like I have said it once before, but I'm obsessed with TV and media, especially news. So I watched a ton of news growing up because there's something just sort of very romantic about it to me. I don't know why, but it just is. And I had a summer job one year.
She's talking about Chuck Todd.
Yeah, it's Sleepy Eyes. That's my favorite Trump nickname of all time.
Sleepy Eyes?
Sleepy Eyes, because it's so specific. And it's something you didn't know was accurate until he said it. And you're
like so many of Trump's nicknames.
Yeah, you're like, oh. But I would watch your show during my lunch break, and I just have these memories of sitting on the floor and watching, and just, I loved you specifically. So it's very, very special.
I feel like we were meant to be together.
Apparently.
I too, I actually did not think I was going to go into news. I thought I was going to practice law for the rest of my life. But in 10th grade, I took an aptitude test, one of those things that tells you what you should do.
Yeah.
And you know what it said? I should become a political journalist.
You're kidding.
Yeah. You believe that? At age 14 or 15, it said you should be a political journalist. I wound up, becoming a lawyer. And then when I was thinking about, well, what else could I do? This seemed like an obvious choice, but I had forgotten all about that.
Did you remember it when you decided to go into news?
Yes. And
Interesting.
I did do a 2-day internship for the Albany Times-Union when I'm from Albany, New York. And it was very cool. I followed around this reporter and I listened to him make his calls. And it was seemed like very hard-nosed, shoe leather reporter. And it was great because by the time I finally got my job at Fox, which was not my first job in news, and my second job, but I was office mates with Major Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know Major Garrett, right? Remember him? So it's CBS now, but he truly was a shoe leather reporter who was he loves when I tell this story, but when I first walked into our office, I knocked over a huge pile of Maxim magazines. Then I kind of bumped into a file cabinet in his desk, and there was a big bottle of bourbon in there. I'm like, I'm home.
That's a newsroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I love it too.
It is. There's something romantic about it.
But you're I know that this word gets overused, but you are heterodox. So you came from a family that might lean right a bit, a little.
Well, no, so this is actually really interesting. At least from my perspective, it's interesting. I don't need to bore everyone with the details, but my dad is a union guy because he worked for the state of Wisconsin. And my mom is in, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm exposing you here, but she is in human resources. So she's a very, I know I said she was a great person earlier, but she's obviously a very bad person. So, they had their own, my dad was raised Catholic, my mom is sort of evangelical, and so I got that clash. They didn't talk about politics all the time, but when they did, when I was a senior in high school, it was Scott Walker's Act 10 protests. My teachers were leaving the classroom and calling out sick.
Yeah, I remember that.
But my parents were sort of on different sides of that one.
YAF that's Scott Walker's organization for young people, Young Americans Foundation, and so that's why I just assumed you were conservative. I mean, you don't track conservative now. You track I never know where you're going to land on an issue, which I like.
Interesting. Yeah. So for me, the most important thing is just being a Christian, and I feel like everything else follows from that.
Right on.
And so it's. I identify, people always ask, what kind of conservative are you? Libertarian, moderate, whatever. I just feel like I'm normal conservative, but the Trump era it's tested, I think, my politics in all kinds of different
all of
ways.
Us. Yes, all of us.
Yeah.
But you will surprise, that's kind of the theme of our evening, because you and Glenn like there's so much on which we overlap, but then there's a whole other, realm where we don't overlap. But I like that about you. I mean, I love that. And people who are really, really pro-Israel will say like, why do you have Glenn on? I'm like, because I fucking love him.
Yeah, man.
Why wouldn't I have Glenn on?
Yeah.
We've gotten to this place where now even within the conservative circles, people are like, no, you can't platform that person because they have views that I object to, or they've said things I object to. It's like, no, I don't care about views some people may find objectionable. Now, if you've lost your ever-loving mind, I'm probably not going to have you on the show because I want my audience not to be misled.
Right.
But different views from my own, of course. So how are you looking at what's happening right now on the right?
Yeah, I mean, I had this experience when I was probably 26 or something of starting to host a show with someone who's a democratic socialist, basically, Ryan Grimm. And Ryan is a wonderful human being, and I learned from that. The labels, because people would apply labels to Ryan, even things that I would have thought of Ryan before I knew him. And they just all dissolve when you're forced to be in close proximity with someone having challenging conversations, and you see how they are as a dad and a husband, and you realize it's so easy to jump to labels because politics is so personal. And I mean, the Israel stuff obviously looms over so much of what we talk about on the right now, which I find it to get very boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's just the labels that I was told to apply to people who thought one way, I just saw up close and personal that they weren't right. And for me, I think it's just amazing that I'm forced to challenge myself all the time to talk to the guests that Ryan wants to bring on or Crystal Ball wants to bring on.
Yes,
and
I love Crystal Ball. She's a leftist. She's kind of a democratic socialist a little bit, but
Totally.
She's totally brilliant and very cool and
So
a beautiful
smart.
person inside and out. But it does require you to spend time with people who are of that ilk to realize, right, okay, we disagree ardently, but I have love for this person.
Right.
And we need that now more than ever.
I know.
Right?
I know. And that's it just, I think we're seeing this happen a lot right now, is that someone gets categorized as bad because you believe their politics will lead to something bad, which is totally fair. It doesn't make the person bad for coming to a different side on that question. They had a different background experience, and I think they're so wrong, and I think their wrongness, like Zohran Mamdani, I think his wrongness is going to lead to a lot of misery in New York City.
Yeah.
I don't think my friends who feel like the status quo in New York City has immiserated them are wrong to be like, hey, maybe I want to give this guy a chance. I don't think it makes them a bad person.
Yeah.
I think it makes them wrong, but not wrong as people, not wrong morally.
They'll be living under Sharia law soon. I got to say that Zohran Mamdani does scare me. He scares me. Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they'll send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you are current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider diversifying your savings into gold. Text MK to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text MK to the number 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.